welcome on behalf of Ornaments of Grace and Virtue OGAV. I welcome everyone to the 2022 OGAV Mother-Daughter events in celebration of the International Women's Day. This is our fourth event, Mother-Daughter event in celebration of the International Women's Day. And indeed, this is our second virtual program for that event.
Good morning and welcome everyone to OGAV virtual event. Mother-Daughter event is an annual spring event where mothers and daughters have an opportunity to have a meaningful date while celebrating International Women's Day together. OGAV felt the need for mother-daughter event in the community where mothers can be empowered through sharing their experiences with other mothers alongside their daughters in a small group setting. This essence is to give an opportunity for learning and empowerment. Last year's event was our first virtual spring event due to lockdown. It was a different experience, a global attendance from across the world. This year, we are accelerating through the change and adapting to make the best of our situation. We are better adapted and making room to live with COVID as part of life. Looking forward to in-person event next year. We have all become better by actualizing that the world is a global village. We are closer than we think. We have people from all over the world this morning, from Nigeria, Europe, the Caribbean, and North America. Thank you all for joining us. Our theme this year is diversity and leadership from the International Women's Day celebration. It would be very naive of us to connive at the driving issue behind the theme this year. It is obvious that the demand for a change in diversity, equity, and inclusion in every aspect of society is very tangible and cannot be ignored. OGAV chooses to challenge the systemic deprivation of girls' worth and value that limits the opportunity given to girls to be educated, knowledgeable, empowered to make the right decisions for themselves because of gender inequality. We are making a difference by supporting, promoting, and advancing girls' education academically, social skills, and health wellness.
So much for that introduction, Barbara. That was wonderful. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's really, truly an honor to be here to share with you my thoughts on diversity and leadership in honor of International Women's Day. But before I get started, I don't know how many of you have been following the confirmation of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson in the United States, but I found out this morning that when she told her high school guidance counselor she wanted to go to Harvard, she was told not to set her sights too high. Of course, we now know that she graduated from Harvard Law School, magna cum laude, and she's about to become a Supreme Court justice. But how many of us can see ourselves in that story? I myself had this experience at York in undergrad when I went to a career counselor and I asked, how can I achieve my dream of going to graduate school? And she laughed. I'm not even kidding. She literally laughed and said, and I quote, "That is not going to happen." And look at me now. You know, I have a PhD in one of the top psychology programs in the world. So how does that happen? I grew up in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Shout out to Brampton. But for those of us who grew up in Brampton, I think it's no surprise that anti-Black racism, misogynoir, which is sexism against Black women, were a big part of my experience. And it's absolutely not fair that we live in a world where we are asked to overcome so much as women. Experiencing racism and sexism is literally a trauma, and the research shows that trauma has an effect on our bodies at a cellular level. It expresses itself in our genetic code, in our physical ailments, in our mental health. And in my teens and 20s, I didn't cope with it very well. And even though I was studying all of this stuff, in my research, I was also living it as a person, as a Black woman in society. And I started to hit rock bottom a few years ago. I was really so scattered that someone actually told me, Abby, you're just like a leaf blowing in the wind. And she was right. Everything going on around me had the power to dictate how I felt and how I acted. And the thing is, a leaf just blows whichever way the wind takes it, but a tree is solidly planted. So I had to learn how to become a tree. It is my hope that by the end of this presentation, you will either have the tools to become grounded in who you are, or you will feel like you already are grounded and be empowered to help the next woman. So how did I become a tree? What I'm about to share, I learned through my own psychological research as well as through therapy. And I know that there is still some stigma around seeing a therapist, but it's really nothing more than getting additional perspective on your life from someone who hopefully has the knowledge, the skills, and the experience to really see you, to really meet you where you are, and then guide you where you want to go. It was actually my therapist who told me that I was like a leaf blowing in the wind, and her words helped me to become a tree. So the first thing that I did was I focused on the things that were within my control, healing from the trauma of sexism and racism, my eating habits, exercising, and all the things that I talked about on the previous slide were within my control. And I was able to rewire my brain and how my body responded to trauma through repetition so that I wasn't just reacting automatically to everything around me. The second thing that I did was I dreamed big. A few years ago, I hit the lowest point in my life, and Abby 3 years ago would not have imagined that my life could be the way that it is right now. And sometimes it feels like there's no hope. And as someone who has been there, your life is so much bigger than this moment. And I hope that that reaches somebody today. I gave myself permission to dream of a life that didn't even seem possible at the time that I was dreaming it. And I'm happy to talk about it more in the breakout room or in the Q&A. But essentially, I started to reflect on the life that I wanted to live, and I would write stuff down. I wrote out, like, I would describe the kind of woman I wanted to be. And once I knew what that was, I worked toward becoming that woman, and I promise you it is possible. The third thing was I became the queen of my emotional state. I control my emotions now, they don't control me. And I understand them now, and I allow myself to fully feel them. And I love that they are a part of me, but they don't handle the reins anymore.
Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here, to be part of a conversation this almost afternoon as we talk about diversity and leadership. As we reflect on this topic of diversity and leadership, among the many definitions that I've read on diversity, I want to submit one that will frame my presentation. To support this meeting, the meaning of this word, I have some short stories of my lived experiences as a teenager to adulthood to support this topic. I was beaming with pride when I heard Dr. Aggie talked about the work that she has done and her own lived experiences. And I thought, what a stage she has set for me just to talk about my lived experiences. I will not go into research. I will just share stories with you. So as mothers and daughters, and I notice among us, I'm not sure how many male, but it's possible there are fathers here or uncles. I want to declare to each of you that you're created to be leaders to fulfill the purpose in the settings that you have been placed. I'm sorry, with the understanding that each of you is unique and should recognize your individual differences. Today, I want to invite you to focus on a few key values that I believe that if you exercise these values in your interaction with people and your journey, feeling okay in the color of your skin, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of the realities of barriers, that we will face in our different contexts, there are benefits we can experience in a diverse setting that will cause us to rise as leaders. With these experiences, we can inspire others to celebrate the authenticity of who we are. Next slide, please. So these are the key values of diversity, some among so many that you will find in the research, And when I tell my stories, I want you to listen carefully to see what could be some of these values that I had experienced as a teenager and even as an adult. Respect, consensus, establish common goals, communication, the use of inclusive and common language, cooperation, working with a team.
We'll watch a little clip and we'll have some questions at the end. And the way this will go is that you watch this little clip, make sure you are paying attention. There will be 3 questions. The answers, you will be allowed a minute for each question, and you can type up your answers in the chat box there, and there will be something for the winner. So make sure you're paying close attention to this, all right? So you can take home something precious.
Danny, look at yourself. Did you not get any sleep?
Honey. Danny.
What? Why are you yelling?
Were you playing on your computer again?
Mom, how many times do I have to tell you? I'm not playing, I'm editing my short film.
When are you gonna start thinking about getting a real job?
What do you mean? I want to be a director. That is a real job.
Danny, your dream is just a hobby. You just start thinking practically.
Sweetie, do you think we're being too harsh on her?
Harsh? No. We care about our daughter. This is clearly not the right path for her. It's foolish for a girl to think she can go in this field. Why do you think you only see men on film credits?
Everything okay, Danny?
Why do you care?
I'm your mother. Of course I care. Tell me what's wrong.
You want to know what's wrong? What's wrong is the fact that Dad is being sexist and you're not doing anything to stop him. It's 2017, Mom. Who says that women can't do the same thing that men can do? Oh, and the reason why there's barely any females in the credits of film is because of parents like you. Parents who don't encourage their daughters to pursue their passions. You are so close-minded that you don't see the potential that women have in their fields. Fields like film work, politics, business, or any of that. You're a woman! You know what we're capable of. So why not follow our dreams?
Honey, I'm so sorry. I wish I had your strength and courage to speak up. I want you to be happy and show the world that females can do anything men can do. We are going to talk to Dad. No one is going to stop you from doing what you love and what you're good at.
So the questions will come up shortly. All right, so the first question, what profession does Danny want to enter? You have the chat box available here. Please enter your answers. I have a minute. I see the answers coming through. We will pick from the first person who answers the correct answer. Keep them coming. Perfect. All right. So we'll move on to the second question. Oh yes, so the correct answer was director. I see some people have filmmaking. We have mainly directors, yeah. So the correct answer was director.
Mind me coming in from the under 17, if we can just give attention to them before we adults start. Isabel, I was with under 17 for some time, and Isabel just made a very good point that made the day for the essence of our meeting this morning. So if I can call Isabel.
Hi.
Very much. So just give us your 2 sentences of what it is for you today. Thank you.
Okay. So what I really liked was that from one of the presentators, how they said they were talking about I think it was Mrs. Dr. Abby, how she was just talking about women boosting up your confidence, and that's really good because back in the day, women were not allowed to vote. Women were not allowed to do certain stuff and certain things. And nowadays, they're still trying to fix it. And nowadays, women are now just gaining their confidence. Now women can bring home money. Now women can do stuff.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. That ties in beautifully, as you pointed out, Dr. Aki. That's although it's not exactly her words, but that is so beautiful because yes, there was a time that a woman is just like a leaf, right? She was just there going to and fro, but now women can vote, women can be in professions that was only predominated by men before. That is amazing. That is amazing, Isabel. Isabel is a little girl. She's turning 10. Isabel is turning 10. That's beautiful, Isabel, that you can make those deductions from the presentations that you have heard today. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'll call on Mrs. Edosa Adams to please speak.
Thank you, Barbara. I know we have 3 minutes, so I won't take your time. We had a very interesting, good afternoon, everyone, again. Interesting age 18 to 25 group with Mojisola, Lucia, Amanda, Priye, and Tosin Dosum. And in our discussion is really that this is a great way to connect as women in terms of our roles in leadership and our roles in our communities and our respective endeavors. But essentially, this is a big thank you to Olga for bringing us together. But we want to be able to connect more than just once a year so that we can continue to inspire ourselves as women of power. But I just wanted to also quickly say that education, as Tosin mentioned, is a pathway to transformational change and growth, and we all have that same shared experience. Even from our speakers today, education was a key transformation to their growth and leadership roles that they play in their respective careers. So thank you, Olga, for bringing us together. We want to connect more even after this event. Thank you so much again. Bye-bye.
We'll call on Wally, our technical personnel there, to play a short clip for us And then we'll go into our fundraising to talk about what the cause and why we are here today, what our campaign today is about. So if you can play that video for us, thank you.
Sorry, I can't hear anything. Is it me? Everyone else is not hearing as well.
There is no volume.
No sound.
What is it?
Yes.
As we can see, menstrual poverty is a serious global issue. It is a very serious global issue. In fact, in 2021, the BMC Women's Health published that this lack of access to menstrual products, education, and hygiene facilities affects about 500 million people worldwide. Even right in our backyards in the United States, there is an estimate of about 16.9 million people who are menstruating and are living in poverty. Okay, so imagine if this is in the United States, which is a developed country, how much more in nations or a country like Nigeria. And that is why we're bringing this to you today. Think about it. I would like you to come with me. Put yourself in this position for a second. Just for a second. There are women here. You've been a girl before. You've been an adolescent before. You've been a teenager before. Think about when you just started having your period. There was already so much around having your period, which is already a biological normal process, but there is the pain, there is the fear of not even knowing what it is, and now to be impoverished on top of all of that, right? So this means the young girl who is facing menstrual poverty, this means that she will not be able to purchase menstrual products that she might need. She might have to resort to rags. Some people resort to using papers, tissues, right? Some people will have to go to dump grounds and get ink, newspapers, and use that. Think about how unhygienic that is. So this poor feminine hygiene, right, will now in turn lead to an array of medical issues, including fungal infections, reproductive issues, and most commonly UTI. And we don't want this for this child, for our girls. We don't want this for ourselves. And so we don't want this for another girl, right? Secondly, education for the girl is affected because living in menstrual poverty means that sometimes you might not go to school. You might have to choose between having to look for something to put as, to protect yourself from bleeding all over yourself, or going to school where you will now be stigmatized, or you'll have people making fun of you and the bullying. So in many cases, they cannot go to school, they cannot work, or otherwise participate in simple daily life activities. So why for this? Because they're afraid. They're afraid of soiling themselves. They're afraid of the stigma. They are afraid of the bullying. Again, without education, the girl's career is at stake. Without education, the girl falls into low income, low social economic status, right? Because now your career is affected and we know how that goes. So as your education is affected, your mental health is also at stake. The girl's mental health is at stake. So this is a good cause. This is a reason why we are here today and asking that you extend your arm to donate to this good cause. By doing so, what can we do? How is this helping? The video said it before. What's happening here? The girl can have access to information. The girl can have access to menstrual pads. We are aiming at looking at ones that can be reused, because we understand that also, when you come from an impoverished state, the mind is also affected, where a girl is thinking, okay, well, should I use this as I use this, I'll have to dispose of it. And it's also seen as a waste. But if we're able to get them reusable pads where they can use and wash it and have it used, that is a sustainable way for them to have this going on, where they can constantly be using it and be stable in that state. The ability to receive a positive, a support, their ability to be in an environment where they feel safe. Because if we are able to help them and provide them with hygienic products for them to keep themselves in a hygienic state, for products for them to protect themselves during their menstrual cycle, what then happens here? It gives the girl confidence, a confidence that she didn't have before. Now she wants to go to school. Now she wants to do more. Now she wants to become more than just a leaf. Now she wants to go out and learn other people's story. Now she's confident to in her own skin, to want to mingle with other people. This is what we want for ourselves. This is what we want for our children. This is what we're hoping to achieve for the children in Nigeria as well. So please help us with your donation. There are ways here on the screen that says how you can make your payments. You can do an email transfer. You can and the contact for the email transfer will be contact@ogav.org. You can pay by checks. So there are so many different ways that you can help us. You can pay by check. You can do a PayPal. The PayPal information is right there. Direct deposits are accepted through BMO. If you want to help us and you're in Nigeria and you're saying, how can I help? Well, the GT Bank and the information, the sort code is available as well. So there is nothing standing in your way. This is a good cause. We're all women and we know how it can be if you're having your period. Talk less about the pain. You're having the pain already, and you now have to deal with a state where you cannot protect yourself, where you are living in an impoverished state. Please extend your arm to this good cause. It will be very beneficial. And also, I am happy to let you know, that now OGAV is a Canadian charitable organization. So for those of us in North America and Canada, you know what that means. That means that you can receive a receipt that will give you a tax break. We have a limit here though. If you're donating $50 or more, we can provide you with a receipt. Someone will say, well, if I donate less, that means I don't get a receipt. Unfortunately, yes. Why? Because we have to also think about administrative costs. Okay, so give generously, extend your arm. It's a blessing to give, and you'll receive in that same fold or in many more folds. God bless each and every one of you. Clip here. It's a spoken word by Anisa Nandula, and then Dr. Abayomi, please, you can go ahead after that to give us the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Bias is a wall. Every word is a brick. Saliva is cement hardening the way that we think about gender or a group of people. A wall that separates us from the fact that we are all equal. An empowered girl is a hurricane that can paint the world in sunsets. Bias is a wall that tries to stop her, but her hurricane isn't done yet. An empowered girl can lead the world into change, and she can guide us into a place that's new. This is a poem to you. Let's break the bias. Bias is a wall that justifies someone laying their hands on their partner. When a woman wears bruises around her neck like perfume, it doesn't start with a fist. It starts with an idea that we hold or assume. Ideas like, women don't deserve to be in a presidential seat, but when a baby is born, a woman is the first leader that they meet. Or a woman shouldn't get the job simply because of a name on a resume. Or talking over a little girl because you don't see value in what she has to say. Or that women of color are aggressive. When I think we're just strong. And it is our strength that has the power to transform a scream into a song. An empowered girl is a lit matchstick that can burn into a fire. We need to knock down this wall so she can climb onto the rubble and stand higher. Let's break the bias. We can break the bias by knocking it down brick by brick. We can start by diversifying the friends that we pick. We can become conscious of our bias. Conscious of the way that we treat people because of their age, education, or gender. It is through being conscious that a timber heart can become tender. We can remember that being biased doesn't make you a bad person. You can knock down a wall and turn it into stairs. It is through having the courage to confront your prejudice that you can show the world that you care. The future is calling on you to shape it. Will you be there? Let's break the bias.
And with that, we segue to the closing, and we've come to the end of our event for today. And I really want to thank everyone on behalf of OGAF, and thank you all for joining us today. We want to especially thank our presenters, Sonia and Abby. Thank you for taking the time just to be here to talk to us. We're taking away a lot of insights from your presentations. We also want to thank all our volunteers behind the scene, people that have made this event possible through their hard work. Thank you very much. Special thank to Wally, our technical person. You won't get to see him, but he's the power behind our event to make sure it happens. So thank you so much, Wally. We appreciate you. And of course, all the trustees that have worked so hard throughout the year to continue to support this vision. We thank you a lot. And for all of you from all over the world that have come to join us, thank you for spending this precious time with us, for sharing your insights, all our facilitators, all our donors, everyone that's done one or two things to make this possible. Thank you so much. Of course, you can continue to connect with OGAF. You can join, connect with OGAF through Twitter or Instagram, as well as the website, where you can get up-to-date information about current events and about upcoming events. And if you really, really want to know more about OGAF, the website is the right place to go, where you can get all the information about the organization. And of course, you're always welcome to volunteer at any of our events. Once again, thank you so much. We have now come to the end of our event. We wish you all a very productive rest of the day. Enjoy your day, and we look forward to seeing you again some other time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming. Presence and everyone that is here. Hopefully we'll connect very soon, and we get across to you. You're very, very welcome. Thank you.